What's up? Well, it's been a minute. Um, Welcome back to Benchwarmer Sports, everybody. And if it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. It's been quite a couple of months, I will say that. Actually, not a couple of months. Pretty much most of the year. It's been a pretty wild experience here on this channel because I have not been uploading as much this year as I or you may have expected me to do, and I apologize for that. And as you guys probably saw in my other video, my last video that I uploaded, I think in May, um, the reasons why I didn't upload for those couple months. Um, I'm going to give you guys kind of a quick explanation as to why I'm back now. Number one, it's football season. Football season is finally here. It is finally time to get into actual meaningful football, meaningful sports. The Guardians playoff push is still alive here. Um, Maybe do a segment or two about that. Browns football is back. As you see, I'm all geared up for that. Cavaliers are going to come back here soon. But as I explained in the May video, I explained how I was very much just burnt out by the entire thing by the end of last season. Um, this last break that I had after the May video, why I did not upload after that, I was so busy, and like I said with the other one too, with from January on, I have been so busy throughout the majority of this year. You guys would not believe it. I essentially, with this channel, when I was uploading consistently last year, I was essentially working um, 3 to 4 different jobs, and I can't. And I will say this: I was a full time college student. I was part time working Monday through Friday every single week. I was doing this channel, and I was having to study for LSATs. So that's 4 different things I had to do, and trying to jam that in to 7 days a week, trying to find times to do that, socialize, do everything that I wanted to do was just so challenging, and it just made me burnt out. I was spending too much energy on different things, and I was spread too thin. Luckily, now that the reason why I'm coming back is because I am far less busy now. I've gotten so much done throughout the last couple months. Basically, this last week was the first time that I had a real opportunity to make videos and to spend more time in creating more, actually positive and meaningful stuff. Because I said it in my May video. The reason why I took a break and why I took another break a little pretty much unexpectedly. Um, I was just so exhausted. I did not have time to do anything. I did not have time to put much effort into this because I had so much stuff going on in my personal life. Doing having a lot of different responsibilities that I had to put first ahead of this channel, and it caught up at a lot at some points. It caught up to me, but now for the first time I actually have time to put together an effort into meaningful content here on this channel again. And I know a lot of you probably have not, come back. You probably are gone and, seeing, watching other people because they're more consistent. And I understand that. I totally understand that. And if you do come back and you want to see more videos from my channel, by all means, I will 100% love to have you back here. Um, but this is for the first time in probably, I will say, 8 months. This is the first time where I actually have time and and have uh, a I don't want to say a willingness, but a motivation to do more content on this channel. And I hope that you guys are willing to sit down and watch some of my content because we're going to still be doing what I've been doing for the last couple of years. I'm still going to go to games and still do, record vlogs and that. Hopefully to a Super Bowl. please God, I don't have much time. Um, I don't have much time, but whatever. Um, but first of all, we're going to be talking about the Browns. But I first want to say two things before we get started here. One, prayers up to Jim Donovan. I hope that he's able to, beat cancer. As you guys know, he stepped down as the voice of the Cleveland Browns. I think yesterday or 2 days ago, as I'm recording this video on Saturday. So I just want to say prayers up to Jim Donovan. He literally was one of the most influential people in my personal life. Um, I when I was a little kid, I used to pretend to play football, pretend to do games, and I would call my own games. I have my Browns helmet over there. I have an Ohio State helmet. I would put that on when I was a little kid, and I pretend to play football and call my own games. Jim Donovan was a major part of that, especially with Fred McLeod and Tom Hamilton. We've been blessed in Cleveland to have three of the best commentators of sport in that any city could have, really. And Jim Donovan was a big part of my childhood, is a big part of my life, is a big part of who I am as a Browns fan. And hearing someone else call the games from now on outside of Jim Donovan is going to be very weird. But I just want to say, first off, thank you, Jim, for everything that you've done for the city of Cleveland. Thank you for everything you've done to try and be a source of light and happiness when the Browns did not give anyone in Cleveland that. You tried your damnedest to make every game, no matter if it was a win or a loss, enjoyable for the fans, and you did your job admirably. And I hope and I pray that you can beat this thing once again, and that you are able to come back and call the Browns in a Super Bowl game, even in the AFC Championship game. For God's sakes, even if you can get that, I hope to God that happens for you. I actually prayed for that a couple days before they announced that. Before he announced that his cancer was back and he was stepping down, I was hoping that Tom Hamilton and Jim Donovan would be able to call at least a championship for the Browns and the Gardos. But yeah, prayers up from Jim Donovan. Hopefully that you can fight this cancer to your fullest ability. And then also, I want to say we had breaking news before I hit record here. Ricky Pearsall, the San Francisco 49ers first round draft pick, the receiver from Florida, was apparently shot in the chest during a botched robbery in San Francisco. So I just want to say, huge prayers to him. I know they said he's in stable condition. He's in the hospital right now. It's looking like he's going to be fine, but scary situation for everyone all around. I mean, he's 23 years old. He's like a couple months, maybe a little bit over, a couple months older than me. So it's shocking to hear that, but I just want to say prayers up to him as well as Jim Donovan. But yeah, let's get into the video, guys. So the Cleveland Browns are back officially in 8 days, maybe 7 days by the time this video goes live or when you see it. The Cleveland Browns are coming back in 7 days, 8 days against the Dallas Cowboys at 4:25. I actually am pretty excited and confident for the Browns. Now it's going to be weird because you're going to say, why? No, Cleveland Browns. Can we do that? Can we beat the Cowboys? And I know a whole big thing with the Browns was this past preseason was Deshaun Watson. Is he going to play? Should he play? Personally, I thought he should play. I thought he should play, in the Seattle game. Maybe not. I think you probably should have played him like maybe a series or two, just because I understand that the tackle situation at left tackle was absolutely horrendous with Jed Wills. We don't know what's going on with Jed Wills at this point with his surgery. He had arthroscopic knee surgery because he had a meniscus tear in his knee. I don't remember if it was his right or his left knee, but he had a meniscus tear during last season. That caused him to miss games. We had Jerron Christian come in and fill in for him throughout the end of the year. We still haven't heard an update as to whether Jed Wills is going to be back in time for week 1 against Dallas. So far, personally, from what I've heard, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be either Affetti at the left tackle, or they're going to move Jack Conklin over to left tackle. And personally, that's the biggest question mark, and that's the biggest concern for me about the Browns coming into week one is what is going to happen at left tackle, because if Jed Wills is not ready to go, he hasn't been cleared to practice yet. He's been cleared medically, I believe, but he hasn't been cleared to practice yet. So he has not practiced all weekend long, or all week long, excuse me. Jack Conklin, just coming off of, pretty much his entire ligament. I think he said it was his ACL, MCL. I think it was either PCL or LCL. I don't remember, but those three ligaments in the knee completely torn in the game against the Bengals last year in the opener. So he hasn't played football in about a year come Dallas Cowboys time. So putting basically a rebuilt knee, Jack Conklin out there on the left side, I think it's more palatable for Browns fans, especially for myself, because you got a $230 million investment at quarterback that you're trying to save and not make sure that his shoulder doesn't get blown up again. And it's so frustrating, because for some reason it seems like the Browns just cannot start a season without any hiccups, without any injuries, without any. And I understand that a lot of teams go through that. So a lot of teams go through injuries or whatever before the season starts, and especially during the season. But for some reason, the last couple of years, the Browns just have not been able to start a season healthy or start a season without any controversy. It's just so bizarre to me. But the left tackle situation, I think, is the one that concerns me the most, because if you have Jack Conklin out there, DeJuan Jones obviously is going to start at right? But the problem is that he hasn't been healthy. He even said himself during this training camp, he's not 100% yet. He was injured last year with a knee injury. And he said he's playing, I think, at 70%, 75%. So, granted, that was a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, maybe. But if you're going to have two banged up tackles playing, one guarding Deshaun Watson's blind side, who hasn't played for a year, DeJuan Jones saying that he's not 100%, that terrifies me. And I think it's the first time that we can say since probably 2019, probably 2019, when Greg Robinson was playing as our left tackle for Baker. You're concerned about the offensive line. Now, Bitonio, Teller, Posick, they're going to be solid. Joel Bitonio's up there in age now. He's going into his 12th year, I believe. Wyatt Teller, he's getting up there in age as well. Posick, I believe he's a 7th or 8th year guy, so he's been around the league a long time. The interior of the Browns' offensive line is going to be fine. I'm still a little bit worried about Joel, just because he's been having some back problems recently. I'm wondering if he's going to be able to go 17 games this year. If not, you can put in Zach Zinter or another guy, Michael Dunn maybe, at left guard for him for a game or two. But for the first time in a long time, I think Browns fans can probably say that offensive line is a huge concern for this team. And that's shocking to say, because for the longest time, we've been able to say that offensive line is the one strength that this team has had. Especially with Bill Callahan at the helm. Now he's gone. They bring in another guy. I forget his name off the top of my head right now. But, bring in another guy who's, he's got some solid reputation in the league in his own right. But it's not Bill Callahan. Bill Callahan was the undisputed number one offensive lineman coach. But that's the one thing I'm very concerned about, is because, Deshaun Watson, I think everyone has been making a huge deal about Deshaun Watson, and for obvious reasons, right? It's not, I'm not trying to say people are worried about Deshaun Watson for no reason or for stupid reasons. But Deshaun Watson, to me, is going to be only as good as the offensive line goes. If Deshaun Watson has to run for his life after every play, or if he's getting hit or pressured after every single drop back, Browns are going to lose. The Browns are going to lose. And it's going to be a very skewed look at how Deshaun Watson is going to play. Because if he's going to have to run for his life after every single play, after every single drop back, then it's just going to be an absolute nightmare for the Cleveland Browns. It's just going to be an absolute nightmare. Now, if Jed Wills is able to come back, week 2, week 3, somehow early in the season, then maybe, it'll probably be a little bit better. Then maybe you can put Jack Conklin back at right, or however you want to do it. But I don't think people have been talking about this offensive line and just how much of a, I don't want to say liability, but um, how much of a question mark heading into the season it actually is. That makes any sense. Um, I just don't think that, going so far, I don't think Joel Bitonio can stay healthy for 17 games. Now, if you say, you know, do I, if Joel Bitonio doesn't play 17 games, do I think the Browns are immediately in trouble? No, I don't think that. But these guys aren't getting older. And you've got guys behind them that are not proven in this league yet. Like Zach Zinter, 3rd-round rookie. You don't know what you got from him yet. Luke Whippler, you had drafted him a year ago from Ohio State. Had a fractured ankle. He's out for most of the year, if not all of this year. Michael Dunn has been like the only guy on this roster that you, or at least backup wise, that you can say maybe has had a solid appearance when he's had to fill in for Joel Bitonio. I think he did it in the Bears game last year and in another game after that. But I mean, James Hudson, he's not good. He's terrible. In fact, he's terrible. We can just flat out say that the dude sucks. James Hudson sucks. I'm sorry if you're watching this, James Hudson. You're probably not, but you suck. And then you have DeJuan Jones is backing up Jack Conklin, but if Jack Conklin has to slide over to the left, DeJuan's going to be out there on an island, and if he gets hurt, then, we're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. I just don't think that everyone has been at least Browns fans wise, have been talking enough about how much the offensive line is a huge, 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 huge question mark coming into this year. And I understand, like, a lot of people, especially I think on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, they've been talking about it. Jason Lloyd especially has been talking about it a lot because he's saying the same thing that I'm saying. He goes, left tackle scares me. Left tackle scares me because you don't know what's going on with Jed Wills. You do not know what's going on. They haven't said anything about Jed Wills, about updates or anything like that. So that concerns me as well. But I think a lot of the focus is, and I think for good reason, has been put on Deshaun Watson because, he didn't play this preseason. He hasn't played since November in Baltimore. But for obvious reasons, Deshaun Watson can only go as far as the offensive line is able to protect him. And if he has to get rushed, especially with, especially if they're going with, they're going up against Micah Parsons and Dexter Lawrence or DeMarcus Lawrence a week 1 against the Cowboys. That's scary. You're going to go up against, the Eagles pass rush. Later on this year, you're going to go up against Trey Hendrickson against the Bengals twice in a year. You're going to have to go up against the Ravens defensive line twice a year, the Steelers defensive line twice a year, the Chiefs, the Dolphins. Like, they're going up against so many different great defensive lines and defensive, just units. This offensive line scares me. And it has not been, said, I don't think, nearly enough. That's the one thing that scares me. Now, obviously, wide receiver wise, that's another concern because, Jerry Jeudy, I feel like the Browns fans have been lulled for the last couple of years into thinking that Andrew Berry can work his magic and come up with a deal or a trade that can just absolutely, wow, he pulled an Andrew Berry and he stole Amari Cooper from the Cowboys for a 5th-round pick. Obviously, steal. But the flip side, he also traded for Elijah Moore from the Jets for a 2nd-round pick. Now, personally, if you want to ask me, those should be reversed. Elijah Moore should have been a 5th-round pick, and Amari Cooper should have been a 2nd. But the problem that I have is that we're doing the same thing what we did with Elijah Moore last year, where a lot of people had high expectations, myself included, for Elijah Moore. In training camp and in preseason, they had Elijah Moore, as like a dual threat. They had him as a running back and a receiving threat. We were all the Browns reporters were saying, "Oh my God, Elijah Moore in this offense can be insane. The packages that it can make with Deshaun Watson and Elijah Moore and Nick Chubb in the backfield and Kareem Hunt coming out of the backfield or whoever is just going to be insane." And then Elijah Moore did nothing until Joe Flacco came in. So that's just me. I feel like we're falling into that same trap with Jerry Jeudy. Now, Jeudy, to his credit, has been better than Elijah Moore, throughout his career. He has been better. But I feel like this whole thing that Browns fans have been doing the last couple of years is, it's untapped potential, untapped potential. The problem is the Browns are not the best people when it comes to untapping potential or tapping potential with wide receivers. The last great wide receiver that we had was, you could probably say Jarvis Landry. But, I mean, Amari Cooper is there. Let's just go down the list. Amari Cooper, definitely your number one, your best receiver. Outside of that, you have Jerry Jeudy, who is unproven, has trouble with drops. I saw a couple plays where he was bobbling some balls, a little bit iffy. He's unproven, never has had a 1,000-yard reception season, 1,000-yard season in his career yet. Obviously, the Browns loved him coming out of college. Then you have Elijah Moore as your 3, still unproven, had pretty much a bad year last year, caught fire a little bit at the end of last year like he did, and I believe in 2021 with the Jets. He did the same thing in a couple of games with the Jets. He had a really good end of the year, and it kind of skewed his numbers. Same thing happened with him last year. He had 650 yards and 4 touchdowns last year. It's not good enough, in my opinion. Cedric Tillman, you don't know what with him yet. He had a pretty decent preseason. Didn't really do much. His rookie year wasn't really given that many opportunities, to be fair, in his first season. But, will he be better this season? Some people say he's had a really strong camp, so we'll see. David Bell, he's your possession guy. I probably will say he's a bust. I don't think he's been that great. I showed some flashes in the preseason. Then he got hurt. And then you have Jamari Thrash, who shut out in the preseason. Don't know what he's going to do yet. Probably is going to be a returner mostly this season, with Nyheim Hines being on the PUP list. So we'll see how that's going to go. But yeah, this wide receiver core, I don't think I'm saying anything new. We don't know. Outside of Amari Cooper, it's all a big question mark for me. Probably except for David Bell. David Bell is probably the one other guy that it's no, not good. But, I just feel like the Browns fans have been getting into a trap recently with, guys like Elijah Moore, guys like Jerry Jeudy. When we traded for Jerry Jeudy, I wasn't necessarily thrilled. I was like, really? We traded for Jerry Jeudy? I did not want him. I will go out on a limb. And if he goes out and he balls out, has 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns, and he's our second receiver, by all means, go after me. But I was not excited. I'm not that big. I'm not that high on Jerry Jeudy at all. I think he's got some potential. I think he's got some good things in his game, but the drops are a killer, man. Their drops are a killer. That was his big problem in Denver, and I'm fearing that he's going to do that again here. And I just feel like a lot of Browns fans have, flushed that out of their heads because it's, ooh, new shiny object. Yes, Jerry Jeudy. I don't see that. So that's my other thing. That's my other question mark. Third question mark, obviously, it's Deshaun Watson. The guy, and I'm not saying anything new here. I haven't said anything new for the last 10 minutes, probably. But obviously, this season hinges all on 4. And I swear to God, on everything that is holy, If I have to hear the word rust come out of Browns fans' mouths, I will assume you're just a moron. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's been 3 years, and you can say, but Bench, it's been 11 games. He hasn't played much in 4 years. He hasn't really played a full season since 2020. 2021, he decided to sit out for a contract. Then, oops, 27 allegations just showed up out of nowhere, which we can get into that too. That's a whole nother topic that Browns fans probably do not want me to discuss about or not like me to discuss about. 2022 had that 11 game suspension, played 6 games. 3-3 was pretty much terrible for the entire time. Last year plays 6 games, pretty much five, but technically he played 6 games. 5-1 record. I feel like that has been so misconstrued by Browns fans as well. 5-1 record. He's really 4-1, you know, but he also lost to Kenny Pickett. Deshaun Watson. If I have to hear rust one more time, I will lose my mind. This is the make or break year for Deshaun Watson, and it's not. I'm not saying anything like, oh my God, earth shattering breaking news, like, oh my God, big brain moment. This guy gets it. This guy sees in the future. No, Deshaun Watson, this is his make or break year. If Deshaun Watson is just a guy or below that, then come April, you're looking for a brand new quarterback again. Now, the problem is, do you trust Deshaun Watson to pick up his pace or pick up his play rather, to take his game to another level? Can he get back to 2020, 2019 version of Deshaun Watson? And that is the $230 million question. And if I'm going to be honest, I have more faith that he won't reach that potential than I do that he will. And it's not because I hate Deshaun Watson. It's just looking at basic reality and saying, from what I've been given, from the games he's played, and you can say, but he's 5-1. He's 5-1 last year. He's 8-4 over his last 12 games that he's played as a Brown. Yeah, you can tell me that. You can also say Kenny Pickett had a winning season last year, and he's a winning quarterback in the NFL. Kenny Pickett sucks. Kenny Pickett sucks. He has a positive win-loss record. That doesn't mean much in the NFL. I'm sorry, but the whole 5-1 thing from last year just drives me wild because Kenny Pickett sucks ass, and he is a winning quarterback. He's a winning record in the NFL. So please do not give me that. Do not give me that 5-1 record. Okay, just don't. Okay, it's not a good argument. It's not a good argument for Deshaun at all. But he's coming off of a surgery that no one has seen in football history. He's coming off of an injury that most happens to baseball players rather than football players. I think it was the gelnoid or the gladnoid in his shoulder was fractured, and I think he also had a torn labrum as well. Coming off of that, we don't know how strong his arm's going to be because he hasn't played. He hasn't played in the preseason. Now, from camp, beat reporters from Cleveland, from national media, have said so many different things about Deshaun Watson. You've had some people that said he looks fine, he looks okay, he's making some crisp throws, he's getting there. Other people think he looks like Brandon Weeden or Connor Shaw, just missing guys left and right, and that the Browns are in trouble this year. I've seen people say that Ryan Tannehill was going to play, that the Browns are going to sign Ryan Tannehill, and he'll lead us to the AFC Championship game. There's some people from CBS who are saying the Browns are going to draft Quinn Ewers in a 16th overall pick. So there's so many different narratives and opinions about Deshaun Watson that you don't know where to go. You don't know where to go. Deshaun Watson has to come out and play basically the season of his life come Sunday, September 8th at 4:25. That has to be the day in which Deshaun Watson just goes, it's game time. Time to put your money where your mouth is, and let's go for 4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 10 picks. And that's the starting point from when Deshaun Watson should absolutely light it up. And look, I've started to see some Browns fans who have been trying to lower the bar, who are fans of Deshaun Watson, and they've tried to lower the bar with, well, he doesn't need to necessarily play great. As long as he plays okay or just like a guy, the Browns are going to be fine. They'll make the playoffs. This is the other thing that makes me upset. It makes me genuinely mad. Because you know why? We can't have him be just a guy. He's going to be worth $230 million in 3 first-round picks. It's true. It's true. The argument is bad. It's bad. Because you know who was just a guy? Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was just a guy. The reason why the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson was because Deshaun Watson at the time was not a guy. He was not just a guy. He was top 5, borderline top 3 quarterbacks in the National Football League. He was coming off of one of the best statistical seasons that any quarterback has ever had. He had 5,000 passing yards. He played better than Mahomes at some points. It's true. He played better than Mahomes at some point. But the Deshaun Watson has to not just be okay. He can't just be just a guy. He has to be great. He has to be great. And if he's not great, you got to look somewhere else. I'm sorry, but if you're asking me to lower my expectations for Deshaun Watson after you paid him $230 million, fully guaranteed, the largest contract in NFL history, you traded 3 first-round picks to the Texans for him, which turned out to be great picks by the Texans. Shout out to them. Good job by them. They're laughing their asses off at the Cleveland Browns. The owner was on a podcast just laughing at the Browns for saying, thank you for all of our players you gave us. Deshaun Watson cannot just be okay. He can't just be just a guy. He has to be great to superstar to borderline top 5 quarterback. He has to be in order for the Browns to go where the Browns originally thought Deshaun Watson was going to take them. He has to be like a top 10 quarterback, borderline top 5. I'm not even asking him to be top 3. I'm not asking him to be top 3. I'm barely asking him to be top 5. I'm saying you have to be at least a top 10 quarterback. Can you be better than Trevor Lawrence? Do I have to actually say that out loud? Can you be better than Trevor Lawrence? Can you be better than Kyler Murray? Because that's where he's been ranked at. I'm letting you guys know. This is why I'm asking. Okay. Let's just go with the AFC wise. Okay. Let's go with the AFC. Who's better than Deshaun? Okay. Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lamar. That's 4 right there. Can you be better than Aaron Rodgers? I would think so, coming off of a ruptured Achilles, and he's 40 years old. He's 40 freaking years old. You should be better than Aaron Rodgers. Okay, we have that. Will Levis, Trevor Lawrence. I'm going up, just naming quarterbacks at this point. Drake May, Tua. You got to be better than them. Herbert, Aiden O'Connell. You have you have to be better. You have to be better than Tua. I think you could be better than Tua. Tua is a top 10 quarterback in this league. You can be better than Tua. You can be better than Tua. If you're not better than Tua, sorry, we're looking for another quarterback. I would much rather have Dak Prescott in here if he's not good or better than Tua Tagovailoa. He has to go. That's not a high bar. That's not a high bar. Tua Tagovailoa is a good quarterback. He's not great. If Deshaun Watson is not better than Tua Tagovailoa, then my God, what the fuck are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like, it's insane. It's insane to me. It's insane that we're having this conversation. It is. If he's not better than Tua Tagovailoa, I'm sorry, he has to go. He has to go. Tua Tagovailoa is a top 10 quarterback. Sure. Is he top 5? Hell no. Hell no. He is like 8 through 10. Tua Tagovailoa is 8 through 10. If Deshaun Watson has to be in that category, he has to match Tua Tagovailoa. It's not that hard. Tua can probably throw for what, 27 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. You don't think Deshaun Watson can do that? If he can't do that, then we're screwed. We're screwed. Not just this year, but for the next couple of years that he's on the roster as your starting quarterback. That's the main question. Can Deshaun Watson come back? That's my goal. Now, that's my challenge to Deshaun Watson. Can you be better than Tua Tagovailoa? I'm gonna measure him to Tua Tagovailoa. If he's good as good as Tua, the Browns will be fine. If he is better than Tua, then my God, we're probably looking to AFC Championship game. That's what I'm thinking. You have to be as good or as good, if not better than Tua Tagovailoa, Deshaun. Can you do that? It sucks that I even have to ask this question. It sucks that I even have to say that out loud. But that's where we're at this point. Can you be better or good as Tua Tagovailoa, a top 10 quarterback and probably a top 5 quarterback in the AFC? That's where we're at. All right. Those are really much the 3 main points I wanted to get out while I have this on. It's been way too long. We're going on 40 minutes. I could probably make this a podcast episode at this point. But I just want to say thank you guys so much. If you guys have, watched this entire video, thank you so much for watching. I just want to say, I apologize for not uploading this year as much as I would want to, or as much as you guys would want me to. But for the first time, like I said, for the first time in a long time, I'm actually able to upload not consistently. I won't go that far, but I will upload more than I have been in the past. We're going to be doing more content like we have done before with game vlogs, game reactions, all that other stuff, news, videos, all that stuff. We're going to be talking about it like we're going to be talking about it, okay? Now, I'm going to be trying to upload my game vlog from the Indianapolis game before the season starts. I kind of wanted that to be, a hype video for the Browns season and, kind of do that. That's what hopefully my next video is going to be. But, all right, this is going to be a 40-minute video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Hit this like button. Gets us help in the algorithm. I just want to say again, thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you guys all in the near future. Take care.